Hello everybody and welcome to JGod Gaming. Today's video is going to talk a little bit about some news that came out of E3 today in David Vonderhaar's interview. So it's a little bit different information that we've already talked about. Some things are kind of a little bit repeated, but I trimmed it up, chopped it up, and gave you the best details from the interview. What you're watching right now is a little bit of the new map that they were talking about that they'd have as part of the beta rotation. So you should be a bunch of videos popping out with this map today from other content creators that are actually live at E3 and recording the event. Some of the other things they're going to be talking about are the solo missions and explaining those and why those came to be. A little bit about Blackout and how the map is designed. As far as pace goes, they're going to talk a little bit about that. The Fog of War, he explains it a little bit in detail. And then also what he believes is the best AR or best gun to look out for at launch. So let's go ahead and look at these different clips as we go through. If at any point you do enjoy the video, remember to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, turn those notifications on so you don't miss a future upload. And let's get into the first one. And this is the one basically explaining solo missions and their purpose in the game.
Something that I think if you understand that that's where decisions like this come from, it makes sense. I, for one, am someone who is what some would call a noob when it comes to FPSs, and do like the single player modes of games, but you can clearly, ear to the ground on the Black Ops community go, well, clearly the heart and soul is in the multiplayer experience.
Yeah, and there is the solo missions, right, which allows you to sort of experience what the specialists are like, a little bit of their backstory, and so there's that. It's the fourth thing that's going on amongst zombies and multiplayer and Blackout.
Yeah,
there's also that. So it's a way for you to get familiar with the specialist and who they are and what they're about, and sort of that'll be that onboarding experience for you, given what you were saying about the kind of player you are.
So those solo missions will be there exactly for new players. And then current players that have been playing the series for a while, it's going to allow you to introduce you to some of the newer specialists, as well as give you an opportunity to just try them out and practice with them. So here's what he had to say about Blackout.
Call of Duty in the way that makes sense for Black Ops.
Yeah, and so your guys' map is like it's an amalgamation of a bunch of iconic maps, right?
Yeah, so it's like imagine your favorite parts and pieces from the different things that that you've played and may have experienced. But you couldn't just pick up literally like multiplayer maps and go, and there's a multiplayer map, and there's a multiplayer map. And it wouldn't make any sense for the a Battle Royale game. But there's elements of those things that are, you'll see. And some of them are quite literal, some of them are less literal. And some of them, and my favorite bits of them, are you have a place that you know from the game. But when you get there in Battle Royale, you get to open it up because, MP is very controlled, it's very 3 lanes, it's very tight. So it's like all that stuff that you've seen off in the distance before, right? Being able to kind of go there, which you haven't been able to do. So it lets you do things like that. So
I think a good example of this is if you've ever played Infinite Warfare on Genesis, you can actually overlook the edge of the map and you can actually see a street and a beach and things like that. So I think that's how they're going to incorporate some of these maps where you see something in the distance. Well, now you're going to actually be able to go to that place and they're going to incorporate parts of the different maps. So we'll see kind of how that plays out. I hope for the best. I really want to enjoy Blackout, but I still got to see that. He also goes on to explain pace and how this pace fits into the game. Is it slow? Is it fast? And here's what he had to say.
So you had mentioned pacing, and if you were to equate it to like another Call of Duty, how would you feel like where the gameplay ranks? Like, between like, traditional, like say like Black Ops 1 all the way to like Infinite Warfare Insanity.
Yeah. So I mean, I only could really compare it to games that Treyarch's made, and it's a weird comparison to make because of the differences in how the things. But this is somewhere it's not 3-speed. It's definitely it's not well, slow would be the wrong word. It's not as paced slowly as 1.
Okay.
So it's definitely between But if you said it was 2, kinda.
Okay.
Right, but it's 2 with the healing mechanic. So if you had to like put it on a scale of Black Ops 1 to 3. Which I understand why people want to do that. Right. I do it too, but I think if you are not going to just be constantly dealing with characters out of frame, everything's grounded, right? There's no thrust packing, there's no wall running. You have to self-heal. Every specialist has their own thing, how those get worked together. So, but you can still just be the Call of Duty badass that you want to be too, right? Regardless of what specialist you are.
Great.
So it sounds like the pace is going to be like a 2.5 or around Black Ops 2. So that's pretty good because that was a really good Call of Duty. So hopefully it's able to stick to that pace even with the new health regen mechanic. He also went on to explain a little bit about Fog of War. Not much that we didn't already know, but it gives a little bit more detail.
you know, what's above and below you and that kind of thing. The fog of war is also changing with how people show up on maps.
Yeah, there's another example about a tactically paced game, right?
Yeah.
So you cast a sort of an area around you, and that's the only area that you can see on the map.
Right.
But guys firing their guns, they'll reveal their positions,
Yeah.
but what's between you and them might be black on the fog of war. But if you're working with your team and you have all that kind of radius, I have a radius, you have a radius, so if we're moving forward, we can kind of clear the map together. So it's a really good example of just sort of, you know.
So based off how that fog of war mechanic was explained, I don't really think it's going to be a huge difference in the game. I think it'll be nice when you actually do coordinate with team, because then you'll have more of the map covered. But it's still going to work like a traditional mini map where someone fires, they're going to pop up on the mini map. You call in a recon plane, UAV, they're still going to pop up on the mini map. So nothing crazy there. If you get an advanced UAV, advanced recon, whatever you want to call it, they're going to still pop up on the map like a VSAT. You're going to still have them pop up on the map. He also went on to describe what will probably be one of the best weapons in the game, and he said it's going to be a rifle. Obviously, these things can change between now and the actual beta and release, but it sounds like the AR will be top notch based off his description.
That's good right now.
I got one more question
Yes,
for you too. So, what's your standout gun? There's always like that one that seems to kind of shine above the others at launch, whether it's an SMG or an LMG.
So we know them in we know them in dev terms. So it's like the name of the gun that I'm thinking about has a weird name that will not be the name of the gun.
Okay.
You have a secret menu.
Yeah.
Close actually, but you'd have to have the debug executables, which you won't have.
Yet.
So you know, I mean, we name the guns off their core profile. So the dev names, right? Not the real names that are in the game. So there's one that's AR_standard. So it is the purest of all ARs of all time, right? So it is the perfect all-purpose gun that is mine.
So that was the interview. If you guys did have any additional questions, leave that down in the comment section below. If you did enjoy the quick short video cutting down the interview, explaining a few things, go ahead and remember to hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe for future content with those notifications on. That's by ringing the bell and hitting the thumbs up. Hopefully you did enjoy the video. If you did, we'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.